is really talking about, building a strong project management mindset in your organization. And that's what I'm calling the basics. I mean, you need that mindset. And really the way to get started is you got to think about the strategy of the organization. Take the time, learn it, ask about it. Where are we going? What's the roadmap? What are the things that we're trying to accomplish? What's the priorities out there? Because maybe I'm working on something that isn't a high priority. And then I want to make sure that I'm allowing the highest priority things to get done. So understanding that strategy is really, really critical.
Yeah, and I think if you're new in an organization, or maybe you're a consultant for an organization, taking the time to really talk to each of the leaders to get their perspective on that is worthwhile exercise
Absolutely.
to do. And or if you're a service company like we are, it's useful to know our clients' overall strategy, and because otherwise, it's hard to make decisions if you don't have the big picture.
Yeah, that brings up, and a lot of knowing those clients plays into the development of that strategy too, right?
Mhm.
So where are the
Definitely.
clients wanting to go, but yeah, it's all tied together. So don't be afraid to ask is the point. And then once your job is to focus and deliver on those objectives in the timeline that's expected so that you can contribute to the bottom line of the organization.
And the budget.
Yes, yes.
The
Yeah.
timeline, the budget, all the things. It's not easy. This is why those are superpowers, being able to do it all.
Superpower.
Yeah. And then finally, you have to measure and you have to monitor. So if you don't come back and say, how we're doing, the red, yellow, and green, how are we doing? Where did we hiccup? How did we fix it? And give that feedback loop, because the feedback loop is really important. Otherwise, you're just going to repeat the same things again.
Yeah, and the measure and monitor, this is where, again, a tool can help you with that part of it, because if you're putting the data into the tool, the reporting can give you that information to help, automate at least that part of it.
Yeah, and then you get to act on that curiosity, right? Act on all of
Yep.
those discoveries that you just had based on what occurred on your.
Well, and I think measuring, monitoring, and that plays into communicating back to the leaders to make sure that that's in alignment with the strategy. So, if you're not using a tool like Project Insight, you're probably doing it in email and spreadsheets and Word documents and things like that.
Absolutely. And again, it helps to your point, Steve. The tool makes it easier to assimilate and gather the data and be able to analyze, then your job is to analyze that data and be able to articulate, the successes, the failures, the lessons learned, all that kind of stuff. You're not having to spend all your time doing administrative work. And that, a lot of people still think that's the job of the project manager, to set up the meetings, to do the minutes, to capture the data, but it's not. It really is not.
It's just a small part of what you need to be doing. Definitely.
Agreed.
I mean, those are just kind of like the it isn't the basics, but the basics are doing all of the things together, and hopefully doing it in an efficient way.